Meanwhile, the New York Times is examining why so many people anticipated a red wave in the first place. In a new piece, the paper largely blames partisan polling for amplifying talks of a Republican blowout. Joining us now is one of the co-authors of that piece, writer at large for the New York Times and the Sunday Magazine, Jim Rutenberg.
Jim, this is fascinating. You know, I think all of us would look in the last couple of weeks at the polls, whether it was Real Clear Politics or 538. And I kept seeing all of these bogus Republican polls. And at some point I said, well, wait a second. Am I self-selecting the polls I want to see? Because some of them were just absolutely crazy. And then I remember, I don't know if it was Morning Consult, but a poll came out 1 or 2 days beforehand it was completely different. And they ended up being dead right about how all of these races were going to drop. So I guess the question is, why did all the polling aggregators and the media fall for these bogus Republican-backed polls?
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting that this year was a mirror image of the last couple of cycles, where in fact these conservative-leaning polls captured the Trump vote in a way the others didn't. At the time, that was seen as they must have the secret sauce. I'm going to emphasize the word secret because they're less open about their methodologies. And the mainstream pollsters, the pollsters who work for your news organization and mine, they went to work to figure out what they did wrong and how they could be better. And they did a very good job this cycle. Those conservative-leaning pollsters were way out ahead of their skis at the end, or ahead of the election. And now the reverse image was of reality, because we just had a very skewed picture of what was happening in this election.
Yeah, you know, so we never felt the red wave. We kept talking about how we didn't understand where the talk of the red wave was coming from. Still, though, again, you saw the media all seem to run along. And I want to ask you about something specifically in polling that I still haven't figured out. Maybe you've figured it out and can educate me and the rest of us on it. Right after Roe was overturned, we saw that abortion was extraordinarily important. We saw what happened in Kansas, which I personally believe was 2022's version of 1978's Prop 13, a sign of things to come, a dramatic shift in American politics. For those who don't know, Prop 13 was a precursor to Reagan and the Reagan Revolution. So what happened? Why did we see polling that showed abortion at 3, 4, 5% going into the election? And then suddenly on election night, all of the exit polls had it like 30, 35%.
I can't speak to where those polls came down and why that way, but I will speak to the coverage. Because once you start getting the red wave kicking in, and Tom Bonier, who's quoted in our piece, is a very prominent Democratic data specialist, was really steaming up about this. What was happening was the red wave coverage was feeding stories. Why is there a red wave now post Dobbs? What is going on here? So the coverage starts leaning into this idea. Maybe abortion isn't really the thing we thought it was for this election cycle. So it all becomes self-feeding, perhaps. And look, this is rank speculation, but perhaps this coverage is feeding voters to think more about inflation and crime. We have more stories about inflation and crime, which certainly people cared about. I'm here on the Isle of Long right now, Long Island, and there were many waves, including parts of Long Island. So I'm not saying that wasn't happening, but the whole balance kind of shifts, and this all becomes self-feeding because, you know, polling is an inexact science, and there's some art to it. So I think it all starts feeding each other in this stew that was, a few ingredients were really badly off.
And Jim, as you write in the piece, it wasn't just the media, it wasn't just pollsters, it was the campaigns themselves. I mean, you talk to people the way we all do, and there was great pessimism among many Democrats who would say, the House is gone. We just hope by some long shot we can hold on to the Senate. And even they were underestimating their own chances, I guess, looking at some of the same polling we were looking at. Was that your experience, too, that even some of the campaigns misread the data?
Well, to me, that's one of the most fascinating things we found is if you look in the piece, there are actually on the record voices from Democrats who had a lot of responsibility for where money went in this election. And their own internal numbers often were shown no red wave, but they were so freaked out by the last couple of cycles and having it wrong and the noise, they just questioned their own numbers. And it meant in the House that they took their foot off the gas in some spots. It seems it maybe would have made a difference. Who knows, right? And then, but that was not only a Democratic phenomenon. We quote Stephen J. Law, who's affiliated with the super PAC that's very close to Mitch McConnell. He felt like it affected his strategy because he saw Adam Laxalt as needing help, and in Nevada, where it was winnable, he saw Arizona as really not a great race for Republicans this year, and he couldn't. The rest of the party didn't go along because the polls showed Laxalt's okay, especially these partisan polls.
Hey, Jim, it's Jonathan Lemire. So we saw here the impact of these faulty polls on media organizations, the impact on the campaigns themselves. I also suspect the impact on the voters. Some people, momentum, hey, no need for me to go out. You know, we got this in the bag, and then maybe you don't. So where do we go from here? The people that you talk to, how do they think they can fix things, improve this, so people can, all of the above, voters, campaigns, media, can better trust these polls for 2024?
Well, the partisan pollsters who we called repeatedly didn't really want to talk to us. So I'm not sure where they go. The mainstream pollsters feel like they, again, had an okay cycle, but nobody is going to rest on his or her haunches. This is a really tricky time for polling. I think the best lesson that they'll take is that you can be right one cycle, wrong the next cycle, keep changing. And for we in the media, I mean, you know, my entire career we've had the mantra, let's not get taken over by the horse race coverage. It happens over and over. It maybe it's human nature. I don't know. I mean, everyone knows they have to fight that instinct. So, you know, lots of lessons because whatever reason, this is the third cycle where the balance of the coverage kind of missed some important things that were going on in the electorate. And that's, you know, that's not our job is to get it right.
The new piece is entitled The Red Wave Washout, How Skewed Polls Fed a False Election Narrative. Writer at large for the New York Times, Jim Rutenberg. Thank you very much for being on this morning.